So let's talk about a really hit topic today, and that is stomach acid. So many people right now think that they have low stomach acid, and there is some big hype around it. People are pumping themselves full of betaine, HCl. They're trying to increase their stomach acid because they think low stomach acid is causing all of their health issues and their digestive issues. And it's just not the case. So what most people do is they do the baking soda test where they take some baking soda and water, they swallow it, and they see if they burp. And then when they don't burp in a certain amount of time, they're like, oh my God, I have low stomach acid. I need to take these things to increase their stomach acid. And then what do? They can turn off their own stomach acid production because all of a sudden the body senses all of this acid there. And it's like, oh, well, I don't need to do anything anymore. So that happens. And then the other thing that they do is they create more resistant H. pylori. So most of us are walking around with H. pylori in our stomach, and it causes it to dive deeper into the stomach acid lining, which makes it a pain in the butt to get rid of. So we are seeing a lot of resistance there. And really, stomach acid isn't the problem. And that baking soda test is not going to give you the right answer. So if you go and take some baking soda and you're in between meals and you're not really that hungry, you're not meant to have high stomach acid. We are not horses. Horses actually produce stomach acid all the time, and they need to eat all the time. And if they don't eat, they will get ulcers. We're not horses. Our stomachs don't do that. When we're not actively anticipating food, our stomach acid is actually quite low. So if you are not hungry and you do the stomach acid test, it should be low. And you don't want to be adding in betaine and HCl, which is something that is so rare for me to ever add in. And that's because if we do truly have an issue with stomach acid, in that we're ready to eat and we don't have enough stomach acid, it's because we've created dysfunction. And instead of just being like, hey, here's more stomach acid, instead, we want to repair the issue so that our body produces the proper amount of stomach acid. So what do? The first thing that is the really big problem is we eat too much food and we eat too frequently. So our migrating motor complex stops firing and we don't produce proper digestive juices. And we also have lost our preparation for food. We're eating so frequently, we're not really hungry. We might just be like, oh, I'm craving something. I'm going to go grab it out of the cupboard and I'm just going to eat it. It's already prepared. I have to do nothing. And so our body doesn't anticipate. What we want to do is we want to first turn on hunger. You should be hungry before you eat. And I'm not talking about the craving type hunger where you're like, oh, I want to eat and I want to eat this tasty thing. It is the hunger that makes your stomach growl. If your stomach is not growling, you are not ready to eat. And you might have to do a little bit of fasting. You might have to do a 12-hour fast, a 24-hour fast, a 3-day fast, however long it takes to kick in that growl and get your migrating motor complex to start to fire. And then when you're hungry, what you need to do is anticipate food. You need to prepare your food. I remember when I was a kid, I would be at school and my stomach would be growling so loud that I would be embarrassed. That's how loud it would be. And as I got older and started to create all this dysfunction in my gut and, antibiotics, crazy diets, all sorts of things, my stomach stopped growling completely, where I would never hear it growl. And it's taken a lot of work to get it to growl again. And when it does, it's like a little kitten versus these big lions that it used to be when I was a kid, but at least it's on the right track. And so the first thing, make sure you're hungry. The second thing, you need to anticipate and prepare your food. So I also remember when I was a kid, we weren't just allowed to eat all the time. This is your breakfast, this is your lunch, this is your dinner, this is what you eat. And I remember my mom would be cooking and it would smell so good. And I was so hungry and my stomach was growling. And guess what? I digested my food really well. So you need to do the same thing, whether you cook or somebody else cooks. We need to start to prepare our food again. We need to be hungry. We need to be salivating. We need to be smelling it, thinking about it, and getting our digestive juices moving. They need to move. We need to get that going, not by taking some HCl and digestive enzymes and all sorts of things like that. We need to start fasting. We need to start preparing our food. We need to start anticipating our food, thinking about our food, and then we're going to see our digestion increase significantly. You're going to see such improvements in your digestion just from doing those things. Now, of course, we definitely want to address pathogens in our gut. We want to address parasites and protozoa and biofilm and bacteria imbalances and yeast. We want to address H. pylori. So definitely tackle that. But it starts off right away before you do any of that by working on improving your digestion. And then you need to work on your liver detox, because you're not going to handle tackling all of those pathogens if your detoxification pathways are not functioning optimally. You're going to have such a hard time. You're going to feel like crap, and you're probably not going to get through the protocols at all. You're just going to have to stop because the detox is too bad. So it does require a lot of work to do a really full comprehensive gut protocol and address all those things, but make sure you do enough work on detoxification pathways. And I have a video on detoxification pathways. It's not just taking milk thistle. You do need to do quite a bit of work to get all 3 phases of detox going, but it's definitely doable. It normally takes a few months, but you can get it done and then go and do gut work, which can take a little bit of time, especially if you've been taking all of this betaine and really screwing things up, and doing different pathogen protocols that are really short and creating resistance. So gut work can take some time. Healing itself is a journey. You need to be patient. You need to give the body time. If you are looking for a coach, you want a practitioner to help you out, you can check out my coaching packages at www.sgintegrativehealing.com. You can get a free copy of my book at gethealyourself.com. And if this really interests you, if you have a love for functional medicine and natural healing, and you want to do this and do something like I do, become a integrative healing practitioner, then check out the Integrative Healing Academy, and you can go to the integrativehealingacademy.com. We have a spring and fall and winter enrollment that you can check out and get on a list for that. Or if we're in an active enrollment, we'd love to see you in the course if you're passionate about it. We want to create an army of healers that have a really holistic model that tackles all of the body as a whole, works on all the systems, follows a really systematic path, which is the Heal Yourself program. So check that out. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll get to them right away.